She whispered, "It's not what you think," but I found her secret messages from him in her notes. I stood frozen at the edge of our kitchen, the cold metal of the refrigerator door still ajar in my hand. The air was thick, like the world had suddenly slowed down. My pulse raced as my eyes scanned the paper in front of me. It wasn't even the words that shocked me. Though they were bad enough, it was the context. The handwriting was his. Luca's. I didn't need to see his name at the bottom to know. It was in the way he phrased things, in the intimacy that poured out of his words. "Chris, it's not what you think," Kara whispered from behind me, her voice small, like she was trying to make herself smaller. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I couldn't face her just yet. But everything in me screamed to confront her, to demand answers, to ask how the hell we got here. How she, the woman I had built my life around, was hiding these messages from me. I could feel my fingers tighten around the edge of the refrigerator, the chill of the metal grounding me, though I could barely feel it. My chest ached. My mind spun, and there she was, standing just behind me, whispering those words. The words I had heard a million times before, each one now loaded with the weight of her betrayal. "It's not what you think, Chris," she repeated, almost pleading. "Please, just let me explain." I didn't move. I couldn't bring myself to face her yet. "Explain what, Kara?" I finally choked out, my voice hoarse, barely above a whisper. "Explain this." My free hand, the one that wasn't gripping the fridge, shook violently as I pointed toward the stack of papers in front of me. Notes, messages, some even in the form of little sketches. All from Luca. All of them, written to her. We've been together for almost 3 years. When we first met, it felt like we were two halves of the same person. She was the extrovert I wasn't, the spark that pulled me out of my shell. We meshed perfectly, from our late-night talks about everything and nothing to our lazy weekends spent in bed, watching Netflix and making pancakes. She was my best friend, my confidant, and for a long time, I thought I was hers too. The first cracks appeared about 6 months ago, almost imperceptibly. I didn't notice at first, or I chose not to. It was little things. She was always on her phone, even when we were together. She'd laugh at texts, then quickly hide her screen when I glanced over. I thought I was being paranoid, but when she started spending more and more time with Luca, going for coffee or catching up with him, I started feeling left out. She always assured me they were just friends. I trusted her. I didn't want to doubt her. But the nagging feeling in the back of my mind kept growing. One night, about a week ago, I stayed up late working on some freelance stuff. I heard her phone ping, a message from him, I assumed. It was 2 a.m., and I couldn't shake the thought. She had got a new phone recently, and I knew the passcode. I didn't plan on snooping, but something in me just snapped. I checked her messages. The texts were mostly innocent at first, just friendly exchanges about movies or something they talked about at work, but then I saw one that stopped me cold. "I wish we could spend more time together. I miss your smile." It hit me like a punch to the gut. I don't even know why I opened the message, but I did, and once I saw that, I couldn't stop. I kept scrolling, and it got worse. Much worse. There were things in there I never thought I'd read. Flirty comments, private jokes, little exchanges of things I couldn't even understand. But none of that prepared me for what I found tonight. I decided to dig deeper to see if this thing with Luca was just a friendship or something more. I pulled open her drawer, where she kept her notebooks. She always had these journals scattered around. Ones she'd used for work, others just for herself. I had never read them. I never needed to. But tonight, I couldn't resist. As I flipped through a notebook, I found what I feared, the notes. Messages she had written to him. And what hurt the most wasn't the words themselves. It was the familiarity, the way she wrote to him, as if she was telling him the things she could never tell me. I recognized the way she'd written his name in the margins, with little hearts around it. There was no mistaking the affection in the way she spoke to him. The more I read, the more my stomach churned. "I miss you every day. Can't wait to be in your arms again. You make me feel things I can't explain." I heard her footsteps behind me, but I couldn't stop. I had to know. I flipped to another page. "Every time I hear your voice, I feel like I'm home. You're my safe place, Luca." Safe place. The word struck me like a blow. I had been her safe place. Or so I thought. And that's when she whispered those words. It's not what you think. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want her explanations anymore. Every part of me, every part of my soul, wanted to believe her, but I couldn't. I had seen enough. She was in love with him. I had no idea when it had started or how long it had been going on, but I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't the one she wanted anymore. She hadn't wanted me in a long time. I finally turned around to face her. The look in her eyes was something I couldn't name. Guilt, fear, desperation, maybe all of it. Her mouth opened and closed, like she was trying to find the right words, but nothing came out. Kara, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. How long? Her lips trembled. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I swear, I never want to hurt you. I clenched my jaw. How long, Kara? Her eyes filled with tears. It's not what you think, she repeated. But this time, there was a quiver in her voice, like she was trying to convince herself just as much as she was trying to convince me. Luca, he's just someone I connect with on a deeper level. You don't understand. I never meant for it to become this. I shook my head. How did it go from just friends to this? You've been hiding these messages from me. You've been lying to my face. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I never meant to lie to you. But I couldn't. I didn't know how to stop it once it started. There it was. Once it started. That's how she saw it. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an accident. She had let herself fall for him, and now she didn't know how to stop. I felt sick. I took a deep breath and forced the words out. So what now? Do you want me to just forget everything? Pretend like I didn't find all of this? I waved the pages in front of her. Do you expect me to forgive you just because you're sorry? I don't know what to say, she whispered. But I still care about you, Chris. I do. I can't fight these feelings for him anymore. I didn't know what to do with that. The words came out before I could stop them. Then maybe it's time to let go. I don't know why I said it. Maybe it was the exhaustion. Maybe it was the sheer betrayal I was feeling. But the moment I said it, I knew there was no going back. She stood there, her hand trembling as she reached for me. But I stepped back, shaking my head. No, Kara, you need to figure this out. You need to figure out what you want. Because I can't keep living like this. I want you, Chris, she cried, her voice breaking. I do, but I can't stop thinking about him. Then it's not enough, I said, barely recognizing the voice that came out of me. It'll never be enough if you keep holding on to him like this. I turned and walked out of the kitchen, leaving her standing there, tears falling freely now. I didn't feel like I'd won anything. I didn't feel relief. I felt like my world had just imploded. But I knew, deep down, this was the only choice left. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know if I'll ever get over this. But I know one thing for sure. I can't be someone's second choice. Not now. Not ever again. Kara might need time. She might need space. But I'm done waiting for someone to choose me. Part 2. I didn't hear from Kara for a few days after that night. And I didn't reach out to her either. My phone sat on the counter, untouched, while I just went through the motions of my day. I went to work. I ate. I went to the gym. I told myself I was fine, but there was this hollow space inside me, a vacancy I couldn't shake. It was like the world had lost its color, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't find a way to make it vibrant again. The first night she didn't text me, I stayed up late, staring at the ceiling, wondering if she was thinking about me the way I was thinking about her. I was still hurting, still angry, but there was a small, pathetic part of me that wanted her to call, to explain herself, to tell me that she still wanted me, that this mess could somehow be fixed. But the phone didn't ring. And after a while, I realized she wasn't going to. The second night, I almost convinced myself I was better off. I forced myself to believe that this was the closure I needed, that I could move on and rebuild my life without her. But then my mind would drift to the little things. The way her laugh used to fill up the apartment, the way she'd leave her books open on the couch for me to find later, the way she always knew exactly what to say when I was having a bad day. I kept thinking about the future we had planned, the trips we were going to take, the house we talked about buying. And suddenly, the future felt empty. I felt lost. By the third night, I knew I couldn't keep pretending I was okay. I couldn't keep pretending that everything she had said, everything she had done, hadn't shattered me. I needed answers. I needed to hear it from her. What exactly was going on between her and Luca? I needed her to look me in the eye and tell me the truth. No more half answers. No more lies. So I called her. The phone rang, and I wasn't sure if I was even going to say anything when she picked up. But when she did, her voice was shaky, like she'd been waiting for this call too. "Chris," she said quietly, I didn't think you'd call. "I need to see you," I said, the words coming out more desperate than I meant them to. "We need to talk. In person." There was a long pause on the other end. I could hear her breathing, slow and hesitant. "Okay," she finally said. "I'll be at the park in 20 minutes. I didn't respond, just hung up. I didn't know what I was expecting, but I knew it was time to face this. Whatever this was. I pulled into the park 10 minutes early, parking near the entrance. It was a quiet evening, cool but not cold, the air filled with the scent of the trees and the distant hum of cars driving by. The place we had always come to when we needed to talk or clear our heads. I sat in my car for a few moments, staring out at the empty benches, the cracked pavement. This was where we'd shared our first kiss, where we'd made so many stupid promises, half joking about our future together. And now it felt like everything had crumbled here in this exact spot. When Kara walked into the park, she was wearing the hoodie I used to love, the one I bought her for her birthday. Her hair was pulled back into a messy bun, and she looked different, tired, fragile. She walked toward me slowly, hesitating like she wasn't sure if she was welcome. I felt a knot in my throat as she stopped in front of my car, biting her lip. For a moment, neither of us spoke. We just stood there, the space between us filled with so much tension I could almost feel it pressing against my chest. "Chris," she said, voice soft. "I'm sorry. I know I don't deserve it, but I've been thinking about what you said, and you're right. I was selfish. I've been selfish with my feelings, with my time, with everything. I let myself fall into something with Luca, and I didn't even realize how much it was affecting you until it was too late." I looked at her, but I didn't know what to say. I was so tired of hearing apologies, of hearing her explain everything away like it was just some mistake, like it wasn't the betrayal that it was. The silence stretched on, and I finally said the only thing that felt true. "So, what now, Kara? Do you want me to just pretend like none of this happened? Like I didn't see the notes, like I didn't find out about everything?" Her eyes filled with tears, and she stepped forward, reaching for my hand. I stepped back. "No," she whispered. "I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to want to talk to me anymore. But I need you to know that I love you. I do. And I'm so sorry that I hurt you. I never meant to hurt you." I shook my head. "Love me," I said bitterly. "You can't love someone and hide things from them. You can't love someone and lie to them, Kara. It doesn't work like that." "I know," she said, voice breaking. "I know. I was scared. I didn't know how to stop what was happening with Luca, and I didn't want to lose you. I thought maybe if I just ignored it, it would go away. But I can't ignore it anymore. I can't keep pretending." She looked at me, her face full of shame and regret. I could see that she was hurting, but it didn't change what had happened. And no matter how much she hurt, it wasn't going to undo the things she'd said, the things she'd done. "I need space," I said, my voice low. "I need time to think, to figure out what I want. Because I can't just keep pretending that everything is fine when I feel like I'm walking around with a hole in my chest." "I understand," she whispered, wiping her eyes. "I just wanted you to know how much I regret everything. I don't want to lose you, Chris. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to fix this." I stared at her, the words from earlier echoing in my mind. I can't keep pretending. But that's what she had done, wasn't it? Pretended. Pretended to love me while falling for someone else. And I realized something then. I couldn't be with someone who was still pretending. Someone who didn't know how to be fully honest, even when it mattered most. "I think it's time we both stop pretending," I said, turning toward the car. "I can't keep holding on to a relationship that's already slipping away. I think we're done, Kara. I think we're really done this time." She didn't stop me. She didn't call my name. She didn't try to fix it. She just stood there, looking at me, the sadness in her eyes a mirror of what I felt. But I didn't look back. I couldn't. I drove home in silence, the weight of everything settling over me. I wasn't sure what came next, but for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was just holding on for the sake of holding on. I wasn't chasing after someone who didn't know how to love me the way I deserved to be loved. And maybe that was the hardest part, letting go of someone who had once meant everything to me, but realizing that not everything was enough to keep us together. Now, I just had to figure out how to find peace in the pieces she left behind.